Hello people of YouTube, I'm Anna, aka Articulately Composed, and today we are bringing back the Hiveswap voice roulette. Just like last time, I've got a big list of Hiveswap voices with some classic Homestuck ones mixed in, and a big list of posts to read from, and we will let fate decide who reads what post. This time around, I've chosen some posts from the AmITheAsshole subreddit, the best place on the internet to go if you want to judge some strangers. I've got my fancy D12 all ready to go. Is this not the prettiest dye you've ever seen? It's like an amethyst, but like magical. It's really, really pretty. And my list of voices, which includes Tizius, Branya, Daria, Elward, Skyla, Follicle, Joey, Chixie, Palipa, Rose, Vriska, and Kanaya. Alright, let's get started. This first post is called, Am I the asshole for cleaning out my fridge without telling my husband? It is a strange one. Let's see who's gonna voice this one. 5 is Skyla. My DH brought home a metal box that he checks on often during the day when it's in the fridge. When asked about it, he said it contained freshly picked olives his friend Jason got from his uncle's farm, and he wanted DH to keep it until he gets back from his business trip. I had no problem with him keeping it safe at the bottom of the fridge. DH always asked me to be cautious with the box and not open it as it would be rude to touch other people's stuff. Yesterday, I decided to clean out the fridge, which took me about 2 hours from unplugging the fridge, emptying all items, groceries, vegetables, and containers, and washing and cleaning out inside of it, then letting it settle before plugging it in again. I took the box my husband brought out of the fridge and placed it on the kitchen island alongside other containers. While I was working, I received a video call via WhatsApp from my husband, while at work feeling bored, asking what I was doing. I showed him I was cleaning out the fridge, and he suddenly freaked out and asked about the metal box. I was confused, so I told him to calm down and showed him where the box was. He got mad, telling me I shouldn't have cleaned out the fridge nor even touched the box without telling him. I again tried to ask him to calm down, as I saw no big deal with that. His precious box was safe and sound, and he went on a rant about how the box needed to be put back inside the fridge ASAP. Told me to plug the fridge in right then, but I couldn't because it was wet and I wasn't finished with cleaning other parts. Apparently, I pissed him off by stalling, and he hung up, and 30 minutes later he came home and pitched a hissy fit saying I should have picked a time when he was at home to clean out the fridge so he could take the box somewhere else to keep it cool. I said, so what? It was sitting out the fridge for barely 2 hours, and olives can stand being outside the fridge for longer periods. He said I don't get it, and took the box and wanted to leave with it. I asked where he was taking it, said I needed to go back to work and had no time to explain. I shrugged this whole thing off, but he came back with it in the evening and put it inside the fridge, and then complained about me cleaning the fridge without telling him, and acting dismissive of his opinions. I argued what opinions could he have on cleaning the fridge. He argued back saying he promised Jason he'd keep his olives in good condition, and that I should have just told him. End of story. I wonder if I messed up. He usually doesn't get this mad unless I've messed up, and I think I have. Edit. First of all, yes, I'm aware that DH is acting overprotective of this box. But he always acts like that whenever someone asks him to keep an item safe for them, like furniture or car parts. And second of all, no, I haven't seen the olives myself, and I haven't opened the box because I didn't think I'd even have to. But DH tends to be overprotective of his friends' belongings, so I didn't give it much thought. Edit. Because many were wondering, yes, I unplugged the fridge before cleaning it out since I did heavy cleaning. You can see that it's a common method, just Google it if you're curious, I do it all the time. And to give some info, the metal box does look like a container of some sort, but DH calls it a box, so I didn't think it's much different. A lot of people in the comments thought that this person's box must be full of drugs or something illegal. Who fucking knows what's in that box? Alright, post number 2. Oh, this is a classic. Am I the asshole for putting my penis in peanut butter and leaving it in the kitchen? Who's gonna read this one? Number 1, Tizius. I'm looking for some assistance determining whether I'm the asshole in this situation that has divided our house into 2 groups. I, 20 male, am a college student living with 4 other guys my age. It's our second year living together, and last year we had an issue with people eating food that isn't theirs. So now I have a strict label your stuff and only eat things with your name on it policy. My girlfriend and I like to get a bit frisky in the bedroom, and a few nights ago I dipped my penis in peanut butter and she licked it off. Yes, I understand that it's slightly bizarre, but that's how we roll. The controversy is that since we have a mouse problem, I didn't want to leave the peanut butter in my bedroom, so afterwards I closed it and returned to my kitchen cupboard. Note that it had a huge peanut butter dilemma label on it, so it was clear that it belonged to me. One of my roommates tells me yesterday, oh, by the way, I had some of your peanut butter. He sees my visibly shocked reaction and asks, what's up? So ultimately, I come clean about the whole deal. He's furious and says, why the fuck would you put it back in the kitchen? I remind him of the mouse situation and our policy not to have other people's labeled foods. This is the first time all year that somebody has had my labeled food and informed me after the fact. He said it was just some peanut butter on his bread, not like he was taking full chicken breasts from me. My house is split 3-2 on who's in the wrong, and it's spilling over into other aspects of our living situation. We need to get over this pronto, so I'm asking, am I the asshole? Info, we have sort of divvied up cupboards, so it was kept in my space. It wasn't in a communal cupboard. Am I the asshole for not wanting to get rid of the anime body pillow that saved my marriage? Be good. 10. 10 is Rose. Throwaway account, for obvious reasons. My husband and I are best friends during the day. Love of my life. It's at night that's an issue. I'm a blanket stealer. I once yanked them so hard poor hubby flipped a full 180. Hubby, for his part, is a thrasher. Bruce Lee would be jealous of the moves he pulls off while unconscious. It's a constant war between us when we fall asleep, and both of us often wake up sore and exhausted. It was starting to affect our relationship. Neither of us wanted to move to a separate bed because we like spending our nights together, but it seemed like an inevitability. We were both crabby every morning, and we started fighting as soon as we got up. It sucked, but neither of us wanted to concede defeat and move to the other bed. Quick background, I was a huge nerd as a teenager. Full-on otaku. Go ahead, cringe, I do too. One night as a joke, I brought down an old anime body pillow from the attic, I know, the cringe, and plopped it down between my husband and I, declaring it our demilitarized zone. Hubby also thought it was hilarious, and we named her DMZ-chan. She stayed there the whole night. It was a game changer. DMZ-chan protected me from hubby's REM-induced rampages, and she's heavy enough that I can't yank the blankets at full speed. DMZ-chan is now a beloved part of our nightly routine. We thought it was the funniest thing, but she legitimately helped us solve the only real issue in our marriage. One day, mother-in-law stopped by to pick up something. She got to use the restroom, passing by our open bedroom door. You can guess what she saw. DMZ-chan, propped up in the middle of our bed, her giant, soulful anime eyes looking right back at mother-in-law. When she got back, she quickly grabbed her stuff and left. Hubby and I both confused. She later mentioned DMZ-chan to hubby while they were on the phone, and it absolutely mortified him. As far as I know, mother-in-law now thinks we're deviants in a three-way relationship with a body pillow. Hubby was too embarrassed to explain, and now he wants to put DMZ-chan back in the attic. I was upset. I told him I didn't want to go back to boxing each other at night, and that DMZ-chan helped us so much in that. He agreed, but suggested we get a normal, plain body pillowcase to replace her. I felt like there was no need to spend money on something we already have, and if it really was that big of an issue, we can put her in the closet while we have company over. Hubby is firm in that she has to go permanently. I know he's embarrassed, but I feel like we shouldn't have to compromise our inside jokes to appease other people. Am I the asshole? Edit. Sweet bees, this blew up. Was not expecting all this attention. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for chiming in. I admit I was being stubborn. I drove over to Target on my lunch break and bought a new cover for $10. I put it on DMZ-chan as soon as I got home. To those asking, I did wash her after fishing her out of the attic. And now I'm waiting on hubby to get home so I can apologize for making him uncomfortable. DMZ-chan shall live on in our hearts. And under the blanket when company's over. Next one. Am I the asshole for throwing away my boyfriend's potentially illegal yogurt collection? 12. 12, we have Kanaya. I'm 29 female, my boyfriend is 30 male. We've been living together for 2 years in a little studio in a very expensive, big US city. My boyfriend grew up rurally, with lots of space. Enough to collect all kinds of things. He collected action figures and video games and all the normal kid stuff when he was young. But as he grew older, he became interested in some more unusual things. As a teen, he had 8 guinea pigs of different types from different breeders. Since Tide Pods were released 7 years ago, he's saved one of every kind of Tide Pod. He's got a big box of an international variety of electric insulators, those little ceramic hats that power lines wrap around on power poles. He's not a hoarder, he's usually neat, just used to having lots of space for his bizarro collections. At his parents' ranch, he has 2 big rooms full of containers of weird and impressive things. He recently became interested in yogurt. He's always hated dairy products, until about a year ago. He not just started drinking milk and sharing ice cream with me, but he's found a love of yogurts. So he now collects them, of course. The problem is they're perishable. So, until earlier today, our little 550 square foot studio contained about 2,100 cups of yogurt. It comes in tons of varieties. Different types, flavors, textures, containers, made by different companies in different countries. This is like crack to my boyfriend, so we tried to pretty much save a sample of everything he could find. He filled our fridge, bought a new fridge, and then another tiny bedside fridge. He said he didn't want to walk to the fridge at night, but it was obviously a ruse to get more yogurt space. These fridges all filled up with his yogurts, and if you keep them for long, they smell bad. Sometimes the packaging breaks. So our apartment was smelling like rotten milk for the last 2 weeks. My boyfriend's attitude was, oh, it's fine, and just deal with it a little longer, until I pulled the plug and threw it all out this morning. I was looking at my groceries, which I had to put beside the fridge, because there was no space, and everything smelled like death, and then I just kind of snapped and threw it all away. My boyfriend is understandably upset. We've been arguing about whether I crossed the line by throwing away his stuff, and he's especially upset because he, of course, had rare yogurts that were hard to find. In particular, he had some Cuban and Iranian yogurts that you can't get in the US. But I know we have trade sanctions against Iran and Cuba, so I don't know if it was even legal for him to have them. I asked where he got his Iranian yogurt, but he kept insisting the Iranian yogurt is not the issue here, and that the real issue was me throwing out his precious yogurts without his permission. Am I the asshole here? Do I need r/legal advice? Thanks in advance, I'm so exasperated. Yeah, Jonaya is not one I've done in a while. I think it's been like over a year since I last recorded her, so... Am I the asshole for pointing out to my cousin how stupid her new dog's name is? This one is going to be Joey.
This sounds silly as hell, but she just bit my head off. I didn't think I was being the asshole, but she sure seems to. I have a cousin, 45 female, who's a little flaky and has always had an affinity for overcomplicated spellings of normal names. If you know the type, you know what I'm talking about. Giving her kids names like Stephanie, Michaela, Kaylee, stuff like that. Whatever, to each their own. Doesn't affect me. I've never said boo about what she named her kids and has always done my best to spell them correctly on birthday cards. A couple hours ago, she hit me up on Messenger to show me pics of her new dog. Great, right? Dog is cute and I tell her as much. Then she drops the name on me. Pronounced Cody. Oh, but of course it isn't spelled that way. She had to put her twist on it to make it special. She's spelling it Chode. Yup, I might be 42 now, but I was once a potty-brained teenager and I know what a chode is. After I got my laughter under control, I messaged her back and told her to look up chode on Urban Dictionary. While waiting for her reply, I checked her Facebook page and sure enough, she'd already posted the dog's pics with her chosen name. It had a healthy amount of laugh reacts, but nobody had commented yet. I sent her screenshots of some of the funnier Urban Dictionary definitions. She flipped out and sent me a few nasty messages about how immature I am. I guess I could have been more mature about it, but come on, she named her dog Chode. I didn't think it was this serious. She's only had the dog 2 days now, so it's not like he knows his name, and she's usually the type to laugh at a dirty joke, but not this time, I guess? So, do I owe her an apology, or should I just laugh it off and wait for her to cool down? Alright, this one is, am I the asshole for pretending to get fired when customers get a temper with me? 11. Vriska. I'm a high schooler with a weekend job at a coffee shop. My coworkers who work weekends are James, the owner's son. He goes to my school, he's a shift manager, but it's not a real formal thing, he's a friendly guy. Danielle, a college student who sometimes works weekends too. So sometimes customers will come in and just be angry about such little stuff, like literally blow up about nothing. I don't know if they're in such a bad mood already and looking for someone to take it out on or what, but it's a lot. Like, how sad do you have to be a grown-ass man taking out your anger on high school and college kids? So, James and I were joking about having a little fun with them and hopefully getting them off our backs. So one day I was at work and some guy was having a temper tantrum about how we don't make the coffee hot enough, which I couldn't do a thing about because I gave it to him right out of the machine. So James came in and was like, "Sir, is there a problem here?" And the guy started ranting at him too. So he was like, "OP, this is unacceptable, you're fired." I started acting real sad, like, "No, please don't fire me. My family needs the money. I need this job. Please." And he played up being a hard ass, telling me to take my apron and leave. The angry guy started to backtrack, like, "It isn't that big of a problem. You don't need to fire her over it. I didn't mean it." And James was like, "No, we pride ourselves on the best customer service." Of course, after all that drama, I still had my job. We were just acting, and we've done it a couple times. Whenever a customer will lose their temper at Danielle or I, James will storm in and fire us. And almost every time, the person who had come in angry will apologize and say they didn't mean it. It's kind of satisfying, making people realize their actions might actually have consequences.
Anyway, I was telling my friends from school about this, and a few of them thought it was a mean prank, to let someone go away thinking they'd gotten someone who desperately needs the money fired. Am I the asshole for this joke? Alright, this one is, am I the asshole for ruining the rice that my boyfriend cooks with by consolidating the multiple bags of rice which he claims are different into a single container? This one is Branya. I, 26 female, moved in with my boyfriend, 23 male, earlier this year. He's kind of disorganized, so I tend to have to tidy things up a lot. He often complains that I misplace his things, but it's really just his lack of organization more than anything. He keeps telling me to stop moving his things around, but we live here together, so I don't see why I should stop doing that. Anyway, he happens to be the one who does most of the cooking, and I'd say he's pretty good at it. One thing that does bother me is that he keeps multiple huge bags of rice in the kitchen, which he claims are different types of rice, but I looked at them and they're all the same white rice. I told him that he should put it in a proper container, but he insists that it's fine just the way it is. But the thing is, I don't think that it's fine the way it is. So yesterday, I decided to consolidate all of the rice by getting a huge tub and putting all of the rice in. I dumped all 3 bags in there and put it in the pantry. When I texted my boyfriend and told him where I put the rice, he completely freaked out and said that I ruined the rice. He texted me that I can't mix basmati rice with jasmine rice, but it's all just white rice. I don't see how it's any less edible. When he came home, he just started yelling at me, and it was really hurtful because I was doing him a favor. Am I the asshole here? And now we have one more. A very strange one. Am I the asshole for not participating in my friend's scheme to convince a restaurant to buy his ketchup? Chixie. My friend, Zoltar, fake name, has been obsessed with ketchup ever since I met him. He's always trying out different recipes to make his own ketchup and getting me and all of our friends to try them. Recently, he made his best ketchup yet. I tried it. It wasn't bad. It was ketchup. Now, he's decided he's finally going to break into the ketchup game. He is convinced he's going to launch his own ketchup company and grow it to be one of the top providers of ketchup in the US. He literally has a photo of Heinz ketchup on a dartboard. He throws darts at it and mutters things like, "I'm coming for you." Anyways, he has a scheme he wants me and others to participate in. Essentially, it involves us all going to a restaurant, sitting at different tables, and enacting lines from a scene he wrote that will culminate in all of us trying and loving his ketchup and convincing the manager to buy it. He wants us all to memorize lines. The gist of it is one guy is supposed to call over a waitress and say he likes the french fries but hates the ketchup. I'm supposed to lean over from another table and say, "Sorry to butt in, haha, but I have to agree. I'm tired of this old-fashioned factory-produced ketchup. Where's the real tomato flavor?" After a few people do this, my friend is going to say, "You guys won't believe this, but I'm a ketchup chef and I have a few samples. Would you want to give it a shot?" At this point, everyone's supposed to try the ketchup and act astounded by it and basically all exclaim that it's the best ketchup they've ever had. I'm supposed to stand up on my table and make a trumpet sound effect and then yell to the entire restaurant, "We have the best ketchup ever made over here. Everyone come on over." One of the other people is supposed to get the manager of the place over, and we're all supposed to try and convince him or her to buy an order of my friend's ketchup. He's going to act surprised and embarrassed and try to tell us to stop putting the poor guy on the spot in regards to the manager. He then assumes he'll make a huge sale. Then he wants to do the same operation at other places in town. I told him, no way am I doing this. I hate public speaking and acting and having attention focused on me. Also, the idea is just so fucking dumb and crazy to me. I told him that straight up. He acted offended and said that I'm ruining his dreams. I'm astounded by this, but some of my friends agree and think he's showing hustle, and that we should all help him launch his ketchup business. Aside from his ketchup obsession, Zoltar is one of my best friends, but it seems like our friendship's being ruined. A lot of people are telling me that I'm a jerk for going against his dream and not helping out. Looks like that's all we got for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Huge thanks to my patrons, Jonaya Riley, Ryan Nelson, Tara Noyes, Tev Linsey, Stinky, and Rosalie Ross. If you want to be added to the big list of names I have on every video, you can check out my Patreon link in the links below. And while you're down there, you can also check out my social media links and my Discord server. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.